Welcome to Flashback, a recap of stories that made headlines during the outgoing week. We begin on Monday in Abuja, where the Chief Justice of the Federation, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, swore in members of the Election Tribunal for the 2023 general elections. The exercise kicked off a 4-day capacity workshop for the justices and members of the tribunal, which ended on Thursday. Those in attendance at the event include the President of the Appeal Court, Justice Monica Dongba-Mensem, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and Justices of the Appeal Court. Justice Dongba-Mensem admonished members of the tribunal to be firm and law-abiding in the discharge of their duties, noting that by the nature of their assignments, they will be exposed to temptations, but they must be in total control of their thoughts. On the same day, the House of Representatives Committee on the Ecological Fund said it will not hesitate to issue warrants of arrest against government agencies and states who continue to disregard its invitations for appearance. The committee probed the total consolidated accruals and utilization of the Ecological Fund in the face of devastating floods across the country.
The recent devastating floods in 27 of Nigeria's 36 states lent credence to the need to better understand the use and effects of the Ecological Fund. More than 800 lives have been lost to the floods and thousands of citizens displaced. The fund was established as a special intervention of 2% from consolidated revenue of the Federation account and 1% of the derivation allocation to address ecological problems across the Federation. How well the fund has been disbursed and put to use is at the center of this gathering, but the lawmakers are unhappy about the failure of 26 states and some MDAs to honor its invitation.
It is very obvious that people are even just paying lip service in this country and being frivolous about the clamor for devolution of powers.
We have committed to take action to redress the identifiable environmental and ecological damage that has both resulted from the accelerated occurrence and consequences of ozone layer depletion, flooding issues.
Among states at the hearing are Borno, Ogun, Plateau, Niger, Kwara, and Imo. Some of the states and MDAs speak on their level of involvement in the Ecological Fund.
From the year 2021, in the month of March to June 2022, Borno State got an ecological funds to the tune of 1.539,891,874 naira 97 kobo.
Up to date, NADA has received a total of 12,740,506,664 naira.
While the committee has summoned the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, it threatens to issue warrants of arrest against any state representative or chief executive of an MDA who declines to appear before it by the 9th of November, 2022.
On Tuesday, the Federal Capital Territory High Court convicted the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrasheed Bawa, for contempt of court in relation to his agency's failure to comply with an earlier order of the court. In the ruling, Justice Chizoba Orji held that the chairman of the Anti-Graft Agency is in contempt of the order of the court made on 21st November 2018, directing the commission to return to an applicant his Range Rover car and the sum of 40 million naira. Justice Orji also ordered that Bawa should be committed to prison at Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja, for his disobedience and continued disobedience of the said order until he purges himself of the contempt. Well, a High Court of the Federal Capital Territory on Tuesday set aside the contempt proceedings and all the others of conviction against Mr. Bawa. Justice Chizoba Orji set aside the proceedings after hearing an application brought in by the EFCC chairman. And on the same Tuesday, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency said it uncovered plans by some unscrupulous elements to introduce a lethal synthetic opioid by the name fentanyl into the Nigerian market. According to the NDLEA, fentanyl is 100 times stronger than tramadol and is capable of causing mass casualty among the young population being targeted by the cartels. The anti-narcotics agency said every step must be taken to ensure the drug, which is currently a major contributor to fatal and non-fatal overdoses in the United States, is not allowed to circulate in Nigeria because of its lethality. The NDLEA urged parents and other stakeholders to be vigilant, alert, and warn their young ones against attempting experimenting with this illicit substance. And on Wednesday, the Independent National Electoral Commission reassured Nigerians that the data on the bimodal voters accreditation system will not be compromised. INEC's Deputy Head of ICT, Lawrence Bayode, said the Commission has put measures in place to ensure the system will not be hacked on Election Day. While Mr. Bayode did not dispute the fact that hackers will try to beat the system, he insists that the electoral body has tightened every loose end towards ensuring that the BVAS is safe. For some time now, there's been apprehension of a possible attack on BVAS by suspected hackers, but INEC doubts the fears of citizens. The Commission said the system is well protected and will be fully deployed during the 2023 general elections. On the same day, the Minister for Agriculture and Rural Development, Mohammed Abubakar, said the federal government is working towards bringing down food price inflation in the country. Mr. Abubakar stated this at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting, which was presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the State House. The minister said the rise in food prices was not peculiar to Nigeria, but a global issue caused mainly by climate change and the Russia-Ukraine war. He reaffirmed government's commitment towards tackling the current inflation and other challenges of food security. The council also approved the sum of 14 billion naira for the construction of a new office for the Federal Inland Revenue Service in Lagos with a completion period of 24 months. It was Black Thursday in Ogun State when suspected hoodlums raised an office of the Independent National Electoral Commission located at Iyano Mortuary Junction in Abeokuta. INEC said it lost over 65,000 uncollected PVCs, 904 ballot boxes. According to the chairman, INEC Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, other items destroyed were 29 voting cubicles, 30 megaphones, 57 election bags, and 8 electric power generators. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner described the incident as unfortunate, saying security agents have commenced investigation into the matter.
What happened here was not just a fire outbreak, but a deliberate attack on the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Abeokuta South local government area of Ogun State. Sources say some hoodlums scaled the fence of the office of the commission located at Iyano Mortuary area of Abeokuta around 1 a.m. and set the office on fire. The incident has led to loss of materials of the commission and left the building damaged. Speaking about the attack on one of the offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission in the state, the resident electoral commissioner described the incident as unfortunate.
We received a call that the building was set on fire. Immediately we contacted the Commissioner of Police as well as the fire brigade, who rushed to the premises and tried to salvage whatever could be salvaged there.
While reacting on the level of damage and figures of electoral materials lost to the fire, the resident electoral commissioner noted that security agencies are still conducting investigations and they are still working on it before coming out with detailed report.
The investigation is ongoing in respect of that. We are conducting our in-house investigations and also the security agencies are conducting theirs. We will come up with a position of the question in due course.
Some of the affected areas include the store, conference room and registration area. Officials of the commissions are presently taking stock of items that were not affected by the fire.
And on the same Thursday, the House of Representatives Committee on Diaspora said it will reintroduce the Diaspora voting bill. Chairman of the committee and member representing Oluyole Federal Constituency, Tolulokpe Shadipe, said the move is aimed at accommodating Nigerians living abroad during elections. She gave the assurance when the chairman and chief executive officer of Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Iriwa, appeared before the committee. According to Mrs. Shadipe, the National Assembly will introduce the Diaspora voting bill, which was rejected during the constitutional amendment exercise. She said the bill for the Diaspora voting would pass this time because that's the direction the world is going, and Nigeria must not be left behind.
Whether we like it or not, eventually it is going to pass because that is the direction the world is going. Then other than that, we're also looking, we didn't mention this in there, but we're also looking at the issue of Nigerians. I wouldn't say Nigerians, I'll say people of Nigerian descent who are not currently Nigerians, but who want to return home, who have had DNA tests proving that they have ties to Nigeria. You know, we need to implement, there's already a policy. It's already captured in the Constitution.
The issue of diaspora voting is not something we can run away from. It's going to happen. And it will happen. It has to happen. You can't run away from it. And the issue of irregular migration, again, I think it would be easier if it's stopped from here. How do you stop people from going and getting into trouble? You're living here to look for a job, but you get there, you don't get the jobs anyway. And then you come back worse than you left.
On Friday, INEC said it will immediately reprint the more than 65,000 permanent voter cards destroyed in recent attacks on its offices in Ogun and Osun states. Not just that, the commission added that there are plans to replace and repair the damages to the building and other facilities. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu said the agency has tracked 50 attacks across the country since campaign began just over a month ago.
This emergency meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security is a swift response to the simultaneous attacks on INEC offices in Abeokuta South Local Government of Ogun State and Ede South Local Government in Osun State. Facilities and offices of the Electoral Commission have been attacked 47 times since February 2019. But this latest attack comes at a time when the Commission is ramping up plans ahead of next year's general election.
Our immediate conclusion is that they may not be isolated, but we leave this determination to the security agencies who are investigating the incidents.
The chairman of INEC raises the hopes of more than 65,000 registered voters whose permanent voter cards were destroyed in the fire.
Similarly, the resident electoral commissioner for Ogun State has been directed to compile the voter identification numbers of all the 65,699 permanent voters' cards lost in the attacks from our database and submit the record for immediate reprint.
The frightening incidents of violence at political campaigns and rallies across the country is also under the radar of the Electoral Commission. There have been 50 recorded cases across 21 states of the Federation just within 1 month of the election campaign.
The security agencies have been given clear-cut instructions to preempt and deal with any situation.
With the incidences so far, arrests have been made, investigations have been conducted, and some suspects have been charged to court.
But beyond giving assurance of a peaceful electoral process, INEC must also secure its facilities across the country and protect it against attacks that continue to undermine its capacity.
And still on Friday, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, revealed his plans to tackle insecurity in Nigeria by reactivating the Economic Community of West African States Monitoring Group if elected in 2023. He stated this at a business breakfast meeting in Abuja. The former vice president said the ECOMOG will ensure adequate patrol of the country's borders and keep terrorists and other criminals away. On the issue of resource sharing, Atiku Abubakar pledged that his government will ensure resources belonging to the Niger Delta region is adequately utilized.
In my proposal, I said the Ministry of Niger Delta should subsidiate or should be situated in the Niger Delta, wherever they want, whether it is Port Harcourt or any other place, so that its sole responsibility is to develop, provide infrastructure, human capital, and so on and so forth to Niger Delta. I'm going to bring back ECOMOG. What do I mean by ECOMOG? I mean a coming together of West African states to ensure regional security, peace, and stability, so that all these infiltration we are getting from North Africa of Islamic militants, this and that, and arms and ammunition, we can deal with them decisively.
We need to improve production, we need to improve processing, and we must ensure that we fight insecurity, the need for training and the welfare of those who are involved. He's talked about the need of intelligence gathering and ensuring that we're able to coordinate intelligence to be able to do the right thing.
Finally, on Friday, presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, says it's time to end the lack of capacity to exploit solid minerals and process agricultural production in the country. The presidential hopeful disclosed this at a town hall meeting with miners in Nasarawa State.